Hey, what's up everybody? John from Old Running Farm here. Thanks for joining us. In today's video, we're going to tell you a story about something that happened here on the farm that changed the way we operate forever. Let's get started. So it was little over a year ago when we were just about finished with our alpaca barn that's in the other pasture over there. And Catherine posted in one of the alpaca Facebook groups, "Hey, we have 30 acres, give me your free alpacas." Or something to that effect. Maybe not exactly that. But so she did that, and we found a farm in Vermont that was looking to downsize their herd of alpaca. And it was maybe a week or two later, Catherine went up and picked up the first batch. So she took the truck and the trailer, went up to this farm in Vermont and picked up 5 ladies. And let's see if I can remember the first 5. So it must have been Maple, Silver, Brownie,
Frosty Snowball.
How about that? I remembered all 5 by myself. So anyway, so we brought them home. I think it was a Sunday, and it was like a rush to get like the fence all done, and we had tons of help. We got the fence all done. We got the alpacas here. Everybody was happy. They were very nice. They were friendly. Brownie cushed, and we had to like carry her in. I think Frosty and Snowball did the same thing. It was quite a thing to get them all in, but everything worked out, and they were all very friendly. And then it was a couple days later, I think it was a Wednesday, that we came out to feed the alpacas in the morning, and we found a little baby boy alpaca in the barn. So right now, it's a little bit of an emergency, because there was a baby born in the barn this morning, and we don't know who the mom is. So I'm at a bit of a loss. Both Kat and I are at a bit of a loss. We don't really know what to do. You know, we just have this little baby here, and hopefully everything's fine. But we had no idea that any of these were pregnant, or possibly pregnant, or could be pregnant. We adopted them, picked them up on Sunday. It's Tuesday. So Kat is on her way to Tractor Supply, the local store, to see if she can get some colostrum and a bottle so that we can feed this little baby. So this is the little one here. Quite the surprise. So I mean, this was the alpaca that was in here with her. It's hard to say, because this one's, you know, pure white, if that's the mom or not, but she's like the only one that was there. But she's not latching. But she does seem pretty agitated because we got her locked in here. Just kind of laying there. And that would be little baby Felix. And his arrival on the farm really changed the way that we approached alpacas and handled alpacas. So we'll tell you a little bit more, but why don't we show some footage of what happened when he first got born. So there's mama and baby. And sorry for the noise, we have a big fan going for the circulation. But isn't he just like the cutest thing you've ever seen? And he was not looking cute this morning. He was looking very alien-like and scary. But so the vet has been out, and they've done a check on both mom and baby, and everything seems fine. You know, we're unsure of how like to term he was, but the vet was pretty confident that he was fully formed. So yeah, so we have them, and so this is not pretty, but we whipped this up in like 20 minutes just to get them segregated, because the little one does not, or she's not nursing, so we're having to give him colostrum now, and we'll change to a milk replacer tomorrow. But so I guess for alpacas, it's very important that they get their mother's colostrum in the first like 2 hours of birth. Otherwise, they're susceptible to a bunch of diseases. We're a little scared at the moment, but we had the vet out, and the vet was scheduled actually to come tomorrow to check out these girls that we just picked up. So it's kind of handy. So we'll see them tomorrow, and they took some blood work. They took samples to see how he's doing, and they'll get a protein count, and if he needs, I guess there's some kind of plasma transfusion they can do. So, but look at him, just so cute. So this is Felix today. Just kidding. This is Dan. But we would never have Dan if it weren't for Felix. Because when Felix was born, we only had girl alpacas on the farm. But once we found, and this is little baby Felix now, just turned a year a month ago. Isn't he a good looking dude? So because he was born, and because he's a boy, we needed to get some male alpacas on the farm. Because once he turns 6 months old, he can't stay with the ladies anymore. So once that happened, we found that our shearer had 2 boys that they were looking to rehome. So we picked up those 2 guys, and that's Monarch and Cody. Cody's a gelding, Monarch is intact. Monarch is the guy standing over there, the brown guy. Gets his mustache from his mother. And anyway, so we end up with those 2 boys. So we started with Felix and those 2 boys, but then when it got closer to the time to introduce Felix to Monarch and Cody, it was going to be tough to have, these 2 full-grown adult men and this little baby Felix. And I think at some point in between there, we also ended up with Carl, who is the dude over there. He's a great dude. Carl was a good dude. But anyway, so because Felix was so small, we needed to get him his own little herd so that we could introduce the 3 of them at the same time. So that's how we ended up with Waffle and Winston.
So we're not totally sure how much halter walking they've done. Probably not very much. So let's see how this goes. Look at he's flipping his little tail up.
They're tall.
They're so cute. That's your Uncle Carl.
Careful. So that little brown guy right there is Waffle. And Winston is smelling Ace's butt. So I guess you could say we didn't need Waffle and Winston, but it was either like rehome Felix or get these other 2 and introduce them. That way, when we combine the 2 herds, they ended up, it wasn't going to be like one little guy getting picked on by 2 older guys. And what we ended up doing was, so we had Carl, Cody, and Monarch were all adults. We had Waffle, Winston, and Felix were all babies. So we actually put Carl in with Waffle, Winston, and Felix, and Carl kind of became the de facto dad of the group, and he was super nice. He didn't attack anybody. It was great. So now we're going to take our buddy Carl here and introduce him to our little boys. So he's been the most interested in the boys, and it seems like he would like to be friends with them as he walks in circles around me. So hoping that's the case. So we're going to go and do like a supervised play date, and hopefully it goes well. And then the plan is that we'll be able to integrate Carl into the 3 little boys herd. Let's go do that. And then we had those 4 that we could introduce to Monarch and Cody, and everything was great. And they all got along. Carl ended up being sort of the headmaster of the group. He was a good leader. He's a good guy. Still is a good guy. Should I let him go, do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, he definitely doesn't seem like he's going to hurt the littles. Littles love him so much. Whoop, Felix.
So everything seems to be going well. I think the fact that Carl had been able to see these guys ever since they got here makes a huge difference. You know, they're not just like being thrown in with some random alpacas here. He seems, you know, sort of less interested than he was previously, but I mean, so he's fine. This little guy is really interested in him, and we shall see how it goes. But so we're gonna keep an eye on them today, and I think overall it's going pretty well. Loves breakfast. He gets super excited at breakfast time. Call him the breakfast boy. So anyway, then we had 7 boys. 6. 7? 6. We had 6 boys. Carl, Cody, Monarch, Carl, Waffle, Winston,
Carl.
Felix. 7.
You said Carl twice.
Carl. Monarch, Cody, Carl, Waffle, Winston, Felix.
Yep.
6?
Yep.
Okay. It's hard to keep track. So then we heard about something that happened in a nearby town where somebody who had 2 alpacas had a bear attack. And the bear got into their pen and actually hurt one of their alpacas. And that's how we ended up with Ace and Glacier. But he's doing much better now. So he and his buddy Glacier, who's the gray guy over there, ended up being like, well, Glacier's not super friendly. He's very standoffish, but Ace is very friendly. All the ladies around here love giving him kisses. So that's nice. And that is how John and Catherine from Old Reading Farm, who never planned on having one single boy alpaca on their farm, ended up with 9. 9. It's a lot of boys. I used to be the only boy on the farm next to Norman, you know. Not anymore. But anyway, so Felix is just over a year old, and we thought it might be nice to tell you the story of how Felix got here and how he really did change how we operated with alpacas. Because we, like I said, we never planned on really having boys. We were thinking about, you know, maybe bringing in a guy to rent some space for a couple weeks and meet some of the ladies, so we'd end up with boy alpacas, but now we're able to do that on our own. So Carl has met up with several of the ladies. Monarch met up with one of the ladies. And it looks like we may even have a pregnant alpaca, so maybe next year we'll have more babies. Isn't that exciting? And so the vet was here a few weeks ago, a month and a half ago or so, and she was looking at him and mentioned how big he was, and he looked very healthy. I think he's also got a nice coat, so fiber quality pretty good. And
Didn't she say his teeth?
his teeth were good, yeah, because she did mention that Carl and Ace had sort of crooked teeth, which would be genetic. But she did say that Felix looks like he would be a good stud. So, introduce him to some ladies in a couple years, next year. Is that when it happens?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be 2. Got a little stampede. Yep. Connie going straight for the dust bath. A lot of butt sniffing happening. Oh, the baby. Mom? Mom? Mom?
Look at this butt.
Look at it, but don't touch it. No, we're not supposed to touch him. So I'm not going to.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I know. Ready for my close-up?
No food.
It's not consensual.
You're fine.
So soft. So everybody just ran over there. Macy, who we were just talking about, just sounded the alarm. Our barn cat is in this. So that's the alarm call. They barely ever do it. And Macy knows our barn cat River, so I'm surprised that she's alarming over her. But what they're doing right now is they're all circling Felix, the baby. So that's, you know, as herd animals, that's what they do. They'll all get together and put their backs towards Felix, so everybody has eyes out and they're protecting Felix in the middle. So it's sort of sweet, even though it's totally unnecessary.
All right, so today we are having the 5 alpacas that we picked up from Vermont last week shorn. It's a little late in the season, so luckily our friends over at Alpaca Boost Farm were able to get us onto the schedule. Usually we book this out like months in advance. But so they were able to come today, so we're gonna get everybody shorn, as you can see, and we'll kind of show you how it's done.
Mom?
All right, so we got everybody home. Everybody's pretty situated, as you can see. They're all very interested in the baby.